Before, when this person calls, you have butterfly in your belly. Now all you have is worms. Before, when you hear this person's voice, you're so excited. Now you're so annoyed. How did you get to this point? Very good question. If you're in a dating relationship and suddenly you don't feel the way you used to feel about this person, there are two things you can do. One, you can decide to end the relationship and walk away. The second thing you can decide to do is to deal with the issues, make the effort you were making at the beginning, and see if the spark comes back again. If it doesn't come back again, you might be forced to end the relationship and move on, or give it some more time. Please hear me. I'm not saying that you shouldn't marry someone just because the feelings are no longer there. But I'm saying that you shouldn't rush into marriage when the feelings are no longer there. Let me explain. You really liked somebody. Now you want to make a marriage decision, but you don't like them as well as you used to. My advice would be that you give it a little more time. Because if you're not feeling anything at the beginning of the relationship, what's going to happen when you go into marriage? And marriage is for life. So these are conversations to have. You need wise counsel, a lot of prayer, and a lot of effort. But please, I would advise you, if you're not even emotionally in tune with this person before the wedding, give it some more time. I know love is not emotions. I know love is not feelings. I've taught it time and time again, and I will continue to teach it. But I wouldn't advise you to go head on into a marriage when the feelings have already died before even getting into the marriage. It ought not to be so. Now, let's say you're married already, but you realize that your feelings are not what they used to be. What do you do? First of all, you are watching this video, I believe, because you think that there is hope. And I think a good place to start would be to let you know that there is hope. That if you believe again, you can be more in love 20 years after than you were 20 years ago. I know that the way, a comedian cracked a joke about somebody who got married and he would watch his wedding video every day shortly after the wedding. Only that he used to watch the wedding video in reverse. So he used to imagine himself walking away from his wife. He used to imagine himself walking away from the aisle. He used to imagine themselves withdrawing from kissing. And so there is a general idea that the older you get, the more things ought to be in a marriage. I'll never forget when I was dating my husband and he came to my office where I work at the time, and someone looked at him and said, "Both of you remind me of when I used to be in love with my wife." We felt it, the thing entered. There is this assumption that once you get to a particular point, it can't really be as exciting, it can't really be as dead that thought. Making your marriage work, making it exciting, making the feelings come back will require a combination of duty and delight. But it's very possible, and in this video, I'll be showing you how. But the first step, like I said, is to believe again. All things are possible to anyone that believes. Believe. Because if you don't believe, it doesn't matter what we say. You already have a mindset that it's never going to work. But if you believe, all things are possible. I remember reading a book a while back, John Hagee's book. It's a 2-in-1 book written by himself and his wife. So his wife wrote what every woman wants in a man, and he wrote what every man wants in a woman. And in one of the chapters, he was talking about how a marriage can recover from almost anything. And in that chapter, he didn't make it about his words. He gave us examples. He gave us an example of a couple that had gone for counseling, and while in the presence of the person who was trying to counsel them, the wife said something, the husband slapped her. The wife slapped the husband back, and both of them started fighting there in the presence of that. He said he did not get in the middle of it because according to him, his mother did not raise a fool. Before you go back home with black eye and they ask you what happened, you say you were doing counseling. But he said that even though both couples fought physically, it's been, was it about 10 years, and they've had a peaceful, glorious marriage. Now, please, if you're watching this and you're in a situation where you are being physically abused, Don't just swallow what I said and say, okay, PL said even if they are beating me, I should still stay. Things can change. That's not what I'm saying. You will need counseling. Some of you might need to separate for a while. Some of you might need to walk away. Remember, God hates divorce, but He hates murder too. So He doesn't want you to die. Right? So very, 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 very important. But now, I am saying that there is a possibility in every impossible marriage. And that if both of you, it has to be a situation where both of you are willing to work on it. He gave another example in that book about how a marriage can recover from infertility. He said a man came to his office and said, so my wife has been cheating on me, and then she got pregnant, but the pregnancy is not mine. The pregnancy is for the man she was cheating with. And he said, as a pastor in Nigerian Palace, his head was hot. He wanted to scatter. This is the person counseling him. And so he told the man, he said, so as a pastor, I can tell you that there's legal grounds for divorce, because the Bible says you can divorce by reason of infidelity. And the guy said, no, I want to make the marriage work. And he said it's been, I think, about 20 years between that time and the writing of the book. And the marriage worked. The woman raised that child in that home, and there was love and there was peace. So he gave another example of a marriage recovering from imprisonment, where the man had to go to jail for a while, and the wife truly believed that he was innocent, and when he came out of jail, they succeeded. See, if in any of these kind of situations, you need a lot of prayer, a lot of counseling, a lot of wisdom. But I think what I'm basically trying to do is to open your mind up to possibilities, that it is possible for your marriage to work. Some of you, your challenges are not even up to any of the challenges I've mentioned, but it is possible for it to work. It is possible for the feelings to come back. And you might say, this person will never change. You don't know that, because we're not the same person today that we were 5 years ago. And sometimes it is possible in a marriage, for this person not to change 100%, but you are both still able to make it work. So many times what you need to focus on is what you can change, and what you can change is you. Please, let me put my disclaimer out again. I'm not saying stay in that abusive marriage, or stay in that marriage where the person is constantly cheating on you because you believe. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that if both of you are willing to make it work, you can come back from anything, and that's just a starting point. Now, the next thing I will teach you, when it seems like the feelings are no longer there, is to forgive. I wrote in my notes that indifference is usually a response to unresolved pain. I'll take that again. Indifference is usually a response to unresolved pain, where you're like, this person hurts me, they're not going to hurt me again. So you block your mind, and you block your heart. And when you block your heart, you're blocking your heart from hurt. But it's just like when you scatter the road to your house. People that are going to try and hurt you, if you live on an island and you said, in fact, fill everywhere with water, no bridge, scatter the bridge. People that are coming to give you food will not be able to come. People that are coming to help you won't be able to come, because you're trying to protect yourself from those who are trying to hurt you. And so what happens is, the same way you protect yourself from hurt, you also guard yourself and protect yourself from receiving and giving love. So forgiveness will help you. Choosing to forgive again, choosing to be vulnerable again, will help you. And I know that usually when we say forgiveness, we always say forgive and forget. But the truth is, if your feelings have already died, this is what I would suggest. Forgive. Next step will be to take counsel, and then you forget. The truth is, a lot of people have issues, a lot of marriages have issues that you might need to remember to deal with. But you need to remember it in a controlled environment, and not in a volatile environment where both of you are constantly having a go at each other and arguing. So forgive, then take counsel. Now, when you're taking counsel, the truth is that your spouse might have done wrong, but not everything will go back to your spouse. Because in the process of taking counsel, you will also realize that there may have been things you may have done to contribute to that situation. And in the place of counseling, you need to be willing to own your parts. But forgive, take counsel, and then forget. If you don't forget the hurt that you might have experienced, it becomes even more difficult for the feelings to come back. So forgive, take counsel, forget. The next thing I would teach you, if you're going through a situation in your marriage where it seems like the feelings have died or are dying, I would say block the gates. Because once the devil knows you are vulnerable in that area, he will keep bringing temptation in that area. He will keep people that you never thought you would have looked at before. You start looking at them, they'll start being attractive to you. Websites you never thought you would have looked at before will start being attractive to you. So it's important